When she's away, it was each and one I say.
Hi, I'm Tanya.
I'm Mario, and we're
Tanya and Mario.
So back again for another video on jealousy.
Okay, so again, we thought we'd start with the definition that we found on the internet. So jealousy is when you think somebody's trying to take what's yours, and envy, wanting to have what somebody else has. So what we wanted to address was the feelings of jealousy, which obviously I don't think anyone likes to have, because it just sort of ends up controlling your life and ruining your relationship. There are two reasons why you feel jealousy, I would say. Two main reasons. The first one being that somebody else is making you feel jealous because they're behaving in a certain way that makes you feel insecure about who you are or what you have or whatever. And secondly, I would say that it's coming from you in the sense that feeling of insecurity exists already somehow. So you may be in a partnership or in a relationship with somebody, and you're constantly feeling jealous, but they're actually not actually doing anything that should warrant that feeling. So objectively speaking, they're a trustworthy person and they're not doing anything.
I'm still feeling jealous.
Yeah, exactly.
That. So what's your take? I'm curious.
How
would you deal with it?
Their own experiences.
Yes.
So the first one I would say, okay, if your partner is constantly sort of sizing up everybody else, and like if you're walking down the street or sitting in a restaurant and you feel that every time you're doing anything, you're being compared to other people, so that makes you feel completely insecure, because you just feel like, okay, why is that person looking at everyone else? Because I'm not good enough. There's something about me that's just not good enough, and they're always going to be looking elsewhere. And I would say that those kind of people are probably just like that, and the grass is always going to be greener, and they're always going to be checking out whether there isn't something better somewhere else. So maybe you need to review the type of person
well, it's a good thing to stay with them, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing is, if you already have some insecure feelings, but that person is actually doing or behaving in such a way that makes it really, really worse, a lot worse, and you can put your finger on the types of behaviours that they engage in, which makes those feelings worse, then you should probably address that with them and talk to them about it and say, listen, it's always best to come when you have a communication with in a relationship. It's always best to tell the person how you're feeling and how that person's actions make you feel, rather
than accuse them, rather than pointing fingers.
Saying,
so rather than talking about you talk about yourself.
Exactly.
Right.
So you can say when we go out to the club and you're just looking at all these other girls, it just makes me feel really
insecure or inadequate. Right.
And so can you try and not look at everybody else? I mean,
it's important to point it out to them, to be honest, and not become defensive about it, but simply notice and mention the behaviour which is disturbing you.
Yeah. So,
and without pointing fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just saying, I'm not comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if somebody who you're in a relationship with is always comparing you to other people and saying, I mean, you're just so bad at that, you need to have a look at the relationship. I mean, talk about it and, say to the person, listen, I don't like you putting me down. I mean, how to motivate somebody is actually to give them lots of compliments. Like, if you're a man and you want your girlfriend to do something about her weight, the best thing you can do to motivate her is say, oh, wow, you're looking really great today. I mean, did you do some sport? You look fantastic. And then that's going to motivate them. Like, the more you compliment that person, the more that's going to motivate them into being the best they possibly can be. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I'll try.
A relationship is like a partnership, so both got to be involved. I mean, number one thing obviously is communication, and if you are having these feelings of insecurity, you should talk about it. I mean, sometimes it's good to be vulnerable and let people know how you're thinking. Don't expect him to know what you're thinking.
That is true.
It's really important to say,
Be clear,
it's like getting home and being really frustrated because there's no milk.
And
and
because the
just
washing
being
machine
really-
is still full,
Yeah,
and the
exactly.
ironing wasn't put
Like,
back in the right place, and so on.
Exactly. Don't just be frustrated and get really angry
No,
and
I agree.
like hope that he's going to understand how you feel. And just
Suddenly,
say, okay,
yeah.
darling, could you empty the dishwasher, please? You know, or whatever. And well, hopefully, if it's a good relationship,
got a
they'll be
point.
like, of course, I didn't think of that. You know, because they're not going to think about it,
Yeah.
and they're not going to know how you're feeling.
Yeah.
So you have to tell them how you're feeling. If you're feeling bad about,
Absolutely.
can you stop looking? You can even make jokes. You know, sometimes if you want to communicate things well, you can make it sort of a bit fun. Now we're on to the unwarranted feelings of jealousy, which come from this feeling of inadequacy or insecurity or like not feeling good enough.
Yeah. At the beginning of the relationship, because it was a distance relationship, I had feelings of insecurity. I came to a point when I said, I either let go or I continue to feel in this bad way. It was just a decision, as I said to you earlier on, a decision to not feel bad and a decision to let go of those feelings which I was having. And so it's just about, for me, it was about deciding not to go there because there was no point, because there was nothing to warrant.
Yeah. Again, it's like what we've been talking about when your things going round and round in your head. It's like self-inflicted suffering, and no matter what you do, it's always going to come back to. And that's why it becomes this terrible, like catch-22, vicious circle, like vicious cycle of you just basically torturing yourself because whatever's going to happen, you still feel like whatever that other person does, you're still going to find something that varies that makes you feel inadequate or makes you feel jealous, and then you start being angry with them all the time for no reason. Like I've totally been through that. I've been in a relationship where I've just been everything that other person does, they couldn't do anything right. Like I was constantly jealous, even if they looked like at somebody like, you know, in a fleeting manner or whatever. It was like directly. It's completely exhausting. And it's exhausting for the other person as well because you're constantly angry at them and they can't even know what they've done. Know why. But so getting back to how to deal with it. If you're able to, again, address that choice of deciding to take a step back and somehow regain control of your own mind by, as you say, letting those thoughts pass and knowing that they will pass and that they're not important and that usually they're not justified and that it's happening in your head, and especially you'll know when things are objectively true and happening or not. You will know. So doing meditation can help you do that because you realize that it's just your mind telling you stuff all the time.
And so all the things that Tanya said, hopefully there will be, you know, of some construction and resonating with some of your lives for sure.
And just remember, it's a choice. Like you can choose to get rid of that feeling. You can choose not to be jealous. You can choose not to recognize and validate that feeling. I mean, unless, of course, you know that there's absolutely reason to be, and for it to be, you usually know, like whether it's coming from you and your own feelings, or that person really is. Again,
like in my case, I think it was obviously in my mind the jealousy, but it came from somewhere. It didn't just arise from one day to the next. It didn't just happen because I was born with jealousy. No, and but then the thing to do is to see, okay, what happened. To say to yourself, what happened in the past is not the past, and the past is different. And what happened in the past does not predetermine my present and my future. Yes. You always have the freedom to change your life, and you can find solutions to all these things.
You can choose
and make a choice, conscious choice for the better.
For the better.
Full stop.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll see you next time.
When she's away, it was the issue that won't